Good morning guys, and welcome to the Weekend with Agatha, this readathon that Angie and I are hosting, and I wanted to vlog this because I am going to be trying to reread 3 Agatha Christie books. Honestly, just kind of with how my weekend's gonna go, I'm thinking I'm probably only gonna get 2 done, but I'm gonna try for 3, we'll see. So here are my 3 books these are 3 of the first ones that I read that I want to reread because I am solving an Agatha Christie each month, but I didn't want to do an Agatha Christie for this weekend that I haven't read before because you want to read it quickly over the weekend and I like to kind of soak in my Agatha Christie, so hopefully that makes sense. But the first one, the one I definitely want to read is The Moving Finger. This is one that I don't own. I can never get it fast enough off of Book Outlet. And this is one of my favorites, but I think this was like the 2nd or 3rd one I ever read. So I want to reread it and see if I really like it as much as I think I do. So yeah, yesterday I was so excited for the start of this, but it hadn't started, so I couldn't start reading. So I was designing an image, I guess, that I want to use in future products in my shop. I think I'm gonna do a shirt. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do anything else, and I'll put it up obviously, but it's a stack of books that are the titles of my favorite Agatha Christie that I've read so far, and The Moving Finger is on there, and I kind of want to make sure this is a favorite. So I'm going to be reading this. This is a Miss Marple. She's not in it very much, but she's in there a little bit. And then, so that's gonna be my first one. And then I have 2 other ones. I think the next one I want to do is And Then There Were None. This is another one that I've read. This one, I remember who did it. I remember what happens. I remember a lot about this, I think. This one, And Then There Were None, I remember who did it, but I don't remember the steps. And I feel like this one, and this one as well, but this one especially is going to be interesting, trying to see the clues that I missed the first time. I guess I should probably tell you what happens in this one. I don't remember I don't remember how it starts, and I know what goes on, so I won't say anything about that one yet, I guess. But this one, a bunch of people are invited to an island and they start getting murdered one by one. And you know, one of the people is the murderer. And I remember the first time I read it, I was totally following like her, I don't want to say too much. I just kept guessing the wrong person and eventually we were left with the guilty person. But this time I want to see what I pick up on as we go. And then if I have time, my kids are giggling outside the door. If I have time, I want to read The Hollow. Now, to my knowledge, this is the very first Agatha Christie I ever read. I don't actually remember anything about this. Like, I have pictures of me reading this on the beach in Mexico, so I know it happened. I remember bringing this along, but I don't remember this at all. Huh, interesting. So I would like to read all 3. If I can't get to this one this weekend, then I'm going to pick it up another time because I don't know what happened here. So these 2 for sure. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to read today. We'll see, but tomorrow afternoon at least, I'm blocking off the whole afternoon to read, possibly the evening as well. So we'll see what I can get done. This one is going to be my first one up. And then also tonight, Angie and I are doing a reading sprints and other stuff together alive, so I'm going to be reading a little bit then, and we'll see how this weekend unfolds. Okay, so I have made it 66 pages into the book, and what happens at the beginning is our narrator is a guy who has been in some kind of plane crash. I think he's a pilot or something, and he needs to go to this village, this nice quiet village, to recover. and he takes his sister along with him. His name is Jerry, and it's in first person, and we barely, I think like 2 times in these 66 pages, maybe even 1 time, have we actually heard his name. So I didn't know his name for the longest time. So they go to this village. He's supposed to be relaxing, getting better. 6 months, they figure he'll be as good as new. And his sister just came along because she broke up with a guy. She just needed to get away, was looking for a different adventure or whatever. And shortly after they get there, they get a letter, an anonymous letter, accusing them of not being siblings. And they find out that there have been letters like this kind of going around the village. Everyone is getting different letters saying something about their life is a lie. And just now, finally, not finally, that makes it sound bad, but someone has committed suicide now. And obviously it's going to be actually a murder, because if it was just suicide, it wouldn't really be an Agatha Christie story. It wouldn't be a murder mystery. So, but we're still at the point where everyone thinks it's a suicide. And yeah, so we've got our suspects of the village. Like I said before, I remember who did it. And as of right now, it's interesting because I don't remember who I thought had done it before, or if I even had any idea. But as of right now, I am not surprised I didn't figure out who did it. So yeah, 66 pages in, read these pages. I haven't even heard of Miss Marple yet. So I do remember her being very brief in this one. So it was my first introduction to her, and I loved her for the brief moment she was in here, but it's very short. So I am going to eat supper and then get ready for my live video that I'm doing with Angie, with our reading sprints and stuff, and go from there. And I'm going to be reading some of this during that time. And then I'm realizing that this weekend is just kind of like things are happening, life's going on. I don't have as much time as I thought, so we'll see if I get to And Then There Were None, or I might I'm tempted to pick up my Miss Marple short stories, because I love short stories, and then I could knock a few of these out. I know I read a couple, I'm assuming they're repeats, a couple of these in the Midwinter Murder short story collection that I read in the winter. I read it around Christmas time, and it's all of them are set around Christmas and New Year's. So I'm assuming there's some overlap. There's a Christmas Tragedy, I think that one's in there, and I'm not sure if there's any other crossover or not, but this is kind of the way I'm leaning right now, just making it like a Miss Marple weekend. Which also makes me think of wanting to do some kind of shirt design that's like Miss Marple specific, like something with knitting and something mystery-ish. We'll see if I have time to work on that this weekend. If not, that might be a future project of mine. So I'll report back soon, I guess. Okay, so I pulled my chair into my office yesterday for the live with Angie, so I thought I would do this little bit of an update in this chair. So last night I got quite a bit of reading done during the live, and then afterwards I went on to finish The Moving Finger. So I finished an Agatha Christie already this weekend, and by already I mean I was hoping to have finished like maybe 2 books by this point, but that's okay. I finished this one. I kept it as 5 stars on Goodreads because that's what my original rating was, but I do think that this time through I would probably give this a 4 stars. I mentioned in the live, but Miss Marple didn't come in to the book, I think, until page 163. It took a long time for her to actually come in, and so I would have liked it more if she had been in there more. And this one I feel like is pretty much impossible to figure out who did it. I'd be surprised if anyone ever told me they figured it out in this one. I would be completely surprised. So for that reason, I think it would be a 4 star, but I can see why I really enjoyed it when I first read it, because I was completely new to her writing. And then I did read the kind of Agatha Christie's notes from when she was like planning her writing of this novel from the complete secret notebooks. That's kind of what I've been doing every time I read. Finished reading one of her books now. I'm reading her notes on it. Sometimes the notes are more interesting than others, but it's really cool that we have this collection, which was the combination of 73 of her private notebooks. So I think that's really neat. And then I have some stuff to do this afternoon and stuff, of course, but I think I am going to go with the Agatha Christie, the Miss Marple complete short stories for the rest of my weekend with Agatha. I don't know how many short stories I'm going to get through, but that way I'm not like in the middle of a book, because I am going to be reading my monthly Agatha Christie book this coming week, I think, or partway through the week I'll start it, so I don't want to be in the middle of another one. I don't want too many Agatha Christie books on the go. So I'm going to go with short stories for the rest of today, and I'll kind of check in and let you know how those go. Okay, so I've read a few of the short stories from here, and let me just say that Miss Marple is by far my favorite. I mean, like I've said that over and over again, but right at the beginning there's an author's foreword, and Agatha Christie talks about how some people tell her she should just write Poirot stories, and some people tell her she should just write Miss Marple, and she says, I myself inclined to her side. So she was a Miss Marple fan herself. And something that I thought was very interesting is that Miss Marple has some faint affinity to my own grandmother. This is what Agatha Christie writes. Also a pink and white pretty old lady who, although having led the most sheltered and Victorian of lives, nevertheless always appeared to be intimately acquainted with all the depths of human depravity. One could be made to feel incredibly naive and credulous by her reproachful remark, but did you believe what they said to you? You shouldn't do that. I never do. So I think that's kind of cool. Another thing that I thought was really cool is the first short story in here is The Tuesday Night Club, and it goes on to a number of short stories from this Tuesday Night Club. And what it is a bunch of people that decided, you know what, it's Tuesday night, we all want to kind of solve some murders or like mysteries. Someone present to us a mystery that they know of, and we'll each take turns trying to solve it, and that's what they do. And Miss Marple, so far out of the ones that I've read, she's the one solving all of them, which is not surprising because that's what she does. Yeah, so I feel like that must be where Richard Osman got the idea for the Thursday Murder Club, because that's too much of a coincidence for that to be like something that he didn't rip off of her. Yeah, so I really like short stories. I am trying to rate these individually on Goodreads, which will kind of skew my like books that I've read for the year, but it's hard to rate a short story collection, especially when you have different feelings about different short stories. I'm going to, if I can find them all on Goodreads, rate them individually and then also rate the book as a whole after, is what I'm currently thinking, unless I get bored of having to rate each one, because they're pretty short. They're like 15 to 20 pages each at this point, the ones that I've read, so I mean, then you're on Goodreads a lot reviewing them. But yeah, so I do actually plan on continuing to read a few more of these tonight, or more of this tonight, but I've been battling a headache all day. I was like lying there reading this with a heating pad on my shoulders, and I think we're just gonna kind of do that for the rest of the evening and veg and stuff. So thanks for watching this vlog. Thank you to everyone who joined in with our weekend with Agatha. Angie and I are talking about maybe doing this again sometime in the fall, especially because we made it a very easy reading challenge. There's no prompts. All you have to do is read even a little bit of an Agatha Christie in the weekend and you complete the reading challenge. So we can do it any time of the year and it's super easy to do. So I think maybe we'll do it again, but thanks to all who joined in, and I hope you guys were able to find some good Agatha Christie books this weekend. If you found a new favorite, please leave it in the comments below, because I just want to read them all, but especially the ones that I know that people really love.